Hey guys, what's going on? So today you can probably tell by my background here, this is going to be a little bit of a different setting for today's video. We are in my kitchen today, and what we are going to be doing today is kind of doing an instructional or a tutorial video on how to make or create, I guess you could say, extra lean red meat for people who are on a budget. So if you have seen my protein source video, which I obviously highly recommend that you check it out, you will see in that video that I highly recommend that red meat should be your main primary protein source for both males and females due to the fact that its amino acid profile is so beneficial for building muscle. It has so many micronutrients in it that are in significantly higher amounts than other protein sources like chicken breast, turkey, egg whites, etc. The only problem with getting extra lean red meat is that extra lean red meat, whether you do it from steak or ground beef, can actually be pretty expensive and pretty costly, especially if you're eating large amounts of it. So to give general ideas, 96% lean ground beef, which is, as far as I know, the leanest that you can purchase in stores. Most places is going to be about $5.50 or more per pound. I think it's like 5.20 or something like that at Aldi, which is the cheapest that I've ever seen it. You can buy 98% lean ground beef online from skinnybeef.com, but it runs about $10 a pound. And then your cuts of round steak, so top round, bottom round, eye round. If you don't buy the roasts, if you buy the actual steaks themselves, those can be anywhere from 4.50 or higher per pound. Sometimes going on sale for about 3.99 a pound. But if you're somebody who's a considerably large male, let's say, and you're eating 10 to 12 pounds of red meat a week, even spending about $4 or so a pound can be pretty expensive after a while. So what we are going to do today is we are going to take this ground beef here, which I bought from Costco yesterday. I hope that you can see this. This is 88% lean, 12% fat ground beef, and hopefully you can see here. This costs $2.99 per pound. I actually bought this same exact container of ground beef last week for $2.59 a pound. So I don't know if that was a sale price or anything. But what we are able to do through this is we're able to take very cheap, fattier cuts of ground beef, and through the way that we cook it, which I'm going to show you when we get to it, we're able to completely remove all of the fat from the ground beef. And what the end product is it is a supremely lean ground beef that only has it's the equivalent of a 97.3, which is about as cheap as you're going to be able to find anywhere. So I found this information from a university study where a couple groups took various sections of ground beefs and they measured their fat content. They cooked them in various different ways, prepared them in various different ways, and then they tested them at the end to kind of see how much fat content had been removed during the cooking process. And they showed from their results that even as high up to 70% fat ground beef can get as lean as the equivalent of a 97.3 from the way that you cook it. So even this is $2.99 a pound, which is really cheap. But even if you are like super strapped on a budget, you can buy anything as fatty as 70% lean, 30% fat, which at most grocery stores, like say Walmart, that's going to cost you like honestly probably like $1.50 at the absolute most, like $2 a pound, because it's so fatty, and you'll be able to get the same thing out of there. Only reason why I bought 8812 from Costco is because, one, I think that Costco's beef tastes absolutely delicious. Costco's beef is actually like very high quality. I know a couple registered dietitians that say that Kirkland and Costco's beef is actually one of the higher quality beefs that you can buy. And I was in Costco yesterday, so I figured, fuck it, I'm just gonna pick it up while I'm here. So that's enough of me rambling. I'm going to get everything set up, and then I'm going to show you guys all the things that you're going to need, and then how you're going to go through this cooking process here to get some extra lean ground beef on a budget. All right, guys, so we got everything set up here. So these are going to be all of the things that you need. You are obviously going to need your beef. You're going to need a skillet. I have 2 skillets going here because I'm going to do all of this beef at one time. I've got about 8 pounds of it or so there, so I'm just trying to get all of this done as fast as I can. So you're going to need the beef. You're going to need a skillet. You're going to need a tray. If you're just doing a small amount of ground beef, like say you're a female or you're only eating like 4 or 5 pounds of ground beef, you can just use a plate here, like a ceramic plate. You're going to need some paper towel. You're going to need a strainer and a bowl. In this case, if you're doing lots of ground beef, I would get a bigger strainer. You are going to need a microwavable safe bowl, and then you're going to need another bowl in which you are going to store the beef once it's finished. So obviously this kind of looks like a decent amount of stuff. Again, you have to keep in mind that I'm doing about 8 pounds of ground beef here. So if you're just only doing like 3 or 4 pounds, say your diet is based around chicken or something like that, and you're only having a couple of red meat meals a day or a couple of red meat meals a week, you would just need 1 skillet. This could be replaced with a paper plate, and then all of this stuff is, you're still going to need it. Strainer, microwavable bowl with a microwave, and then the bowl in which you're going to store it in. All right, so I'm going to take some of this beef. I'm going to get it put in both of these strainers here, just get it started. We're going to get it started cooking like normal. And then once we get to the next step, I'll meet up with you guys then. All right, guys, so the beef is fully cooked. We just kind of brown this up as if we would with any other brown beef or ground beef. We're just going to brown it up here in the skillet. I chop my beef up nice and fine. 1, just to kind of make sure that it gets cooked all the way through, but 2, shit, I don't know. I think it's easier to eat beef for whatever reason when I cook it up in smaller chunks. If you are a bodybuilder, you know what I mean when I say that you get picky about how your food is and its textures and all that shit, especially on prep. Anyways, what we're going to do now is we are going to take the beef from our skillets and we are going to transfer it from the skillet into the strainer, where we're going to strain off all of the fat and the grease and the water and everything that was cooked in it. It's going to drop down into that bowl, and then we are going to transfer the beef from that strainer to our tray that we had set up earlier. I have this lined with paper towels, so we're going to go ahead and get that done now. All right. The pressure is on. Let's see if we could do this without managing to spill everywhere on camera. Okay. Okay. All right, so we're just going to get this in the strainer. We're going to let it strain a little bit. I don't know if you guys can see this. See all these juices that are dripping out of there? Okay. Now, right under here, what you guys can see now is my tray that is lined with paper towels. All we're going to do is we're going to dump the beef onto the paper towels here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get the second skillet strained, and then I'll meet you guys back here for the next step. All right, guys, so we got the beef transferred from the strainer into our tray. We've got it lined with paper towels, and I'm going to place a second layer of paper towels over the top of it here, and we're just going to kind of blot this for a little bit. We're going to blot this for a few minutes here, probably 2 or 3 minutes. Now, while this is blotting and drying out, I have filled the microwave glass that we had with 4 cups of water. And I'm going to put that in the microwave for about 4 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get that started now. What we want is we want the water to be very hot, but we don't want it to be boiling. Ooh, look at this. Yo, this is Inception. What's up? All right. We want the water to be hot, but we don't want it to be boiling. So we're just going to put it in there for about 4 minutes. After about another minute or so of blotting this beef here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer it back from here back into the strainer. Probably just use the spatula over here and then scoop it up and put it back in the strainer. And then I'll meet you guys back for the next step. All right, guys, so we got the beef transferred from the tray back into the strainer. The microwave just went off, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take, this is going to be hard to do with one hand. We're going to take our hot water, and we are just going to strain the beef one more time. So what this is going to do is this is going to take any residual fat that's left on the outside of the beef or is kind of mixed up in between all the chunks, and it's going to help get all of that out. So I'm going to let that strain for probably a minute or so. Let's stick that back in there. I'm going to let that strain for about a minute or so, and then I'm going to transfer it from the strainer to the bowl where I'm going to store it in the refrigerator. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that entire process again because I still have the second half of my beef to cook up. And then once I get everything finished and then I get all cleaned up, I'll be back to kind of help wrap things up, all right? All right, so now that that's done, I just want to wrap this all up by saying a few things. So first things first, just to reiterate, everything that was done was tested in a laboratory study. So I'm going to put the link to that study in the description of this video. This does take more time. This is a more time-consuming process than what it would be to just take lean steaks and throw them on the grill, or lean ground beef and put it in the skillet. I usually cook about 7.5 to 8 pounds of that ground beef a week, and then from start to finish, it usually takes me about an hour or so to cook everything. So I just pick it on a day where I don't really have anything going on in the morning or the afternoon, and just crank it all out, and I have my meat for the week. Obviously, if you have the finances and you can go ahead and purchase the lean red meat and save yourself the time. I have the finances to do so as well, but the way I look at it is, why would I spend $5 a pound on lean beef when I could spend half that and just take a little bit more time and kind of prep it and save that money and put that money into other things? Because obviously, aside from food and stuff, we all have other things that we need to be spending money on. So the two biggest kickbacks that I hear as far as why red meat shouldn't be your main protein source in a diet is because of its fat content and its price. So what we've done with this method is we've officially eliminated both of those excuses as to why you can't or shouldn't use red meat as the main protein source in your diet. As far as cost, remember from the study, we can use as high as 70% fat ground beef, which is like $1.50 or $2 at the absolute most. At the store, chicken breast is $1.99 to $1.79 at most stores. So we're getting a red meat that is right along the same price point as chicken breast. And then the fat content. So through this cooking process, we have gotten as much fat out of the beef as we physically can get. Remember that the cooked product is a resemblance of a 97.3 lean ground beef. So by doing this, we're saving money, and we're still getting all of the benefits of the red meat, which is the increased zinc, selenium, magnesium, creatine, carnitine, amongst many other things, iron, which is very, very deficient. Obviously, we know how popular anemia is. So again, we've just kind of completely eliminated all of those excuses as to why red meat shouldn't be the main protein source in your diet. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the description. I have my Instagram in the bio. Go ahead and message me on there if you have any questions. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. And as always, have a good one.